And welcome to the Campus View Club here at the Peterson Event Center for the Jeff Capel Show as the Panthers go for the ACC Championship in the regular season on Saturday against Miami at 6 o'clock. Jeff, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to be joined by Milan Brown, quite an inspiring story. Penny Samaya, who I know is involved with your student athletes and what a job he does at the University of Pittsburgh. One of the most valuable behind-the-scenes guys at the school.
No question. He's a guy that's very instrumental in the lives of student athletes. He's an unbelievable asset in recruiting when we bring kids on campus, especially their parents, and to see the commitment and the money that has been put into life skills by our athletic department and by John and Kathy Pelusi. Is something that's very, very unique and very helpful in the lives of these student athletes.
I don't know if there's anyone as genuine as Penny.
Yeah.
He's just like, that's what you get right there.
No question, man. Always in a good mood.
Yep.
Just incredibly positive outlook on life, and just a great all-around guy.
You know what a positive outlook on life helps? When you have a night where you just have one of those nights.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you chalk up last night to?
Yeah, it was weird. It was a strange night. Just from the standpoint of we got 2 technical fouls. I don't know if we've gotten a tech this year. I know I haven't. I don't think a player has gotten a technical foul this year. One of them happened early where we were talking to a teammate. He yelled something to his teammate in excitement.
Right.
And we didn't understand that. And then a little bit later, I was called for one. I'm not saying I didn't deserve it. I'm not saying that. But it was, a play. I thought one of our guys got fouled. He drove to the basket, and the defender literally put him in a bear hug, and they called the jump ball. I said to the official in front of me, how did you not see that? He said, I thought he was calling a foul. I thought he was going to call it. And then we go to the other end, and he called a touch foul on us. And so it was just, but probably the weirdest thing is that we missed 16 free throws.
What do you do as a coach when, do you say anything? You just.
Yeah, we were, before last night, I think we're 3rd in the ACC now in conference play. I think we were 1st. I think we were 81%. I think it was 80.9.
I think it was like 29 of 34 or something.
Yeah, I think we were, I think we were 80.9% in conference games. And it just kind of, it was like it became contagious, and it was weird. We missed layups. We missed so many shots around the basket. And part of it is that, I know our guys wanted last night so bad for a lot of different reasons. And I think we were pressed early. I think when we missed some shots early and then they were making everything, I think we panicked a little bit. And so really in the timeouts, that's all I was saying. Look, just relax. Let's just play basketball. Just relax. Let it go. At halftime, let it go. I was proud that we fought. We kept fighting, and we had a chance at the end. It was a 2-possession game. It was a 5-point game. We weren't trying to foul. We thought we had a good trap, and then we got called for a foul. Right. But credit to them, man. They made plays. They made shots. Guys stepped up, and they did some good things.
What's the message to your group after a game like that with a big regular season finale coming up?
Yeah, just move on to the next play like we have, to learn from it. And then let's get prepared to go beat Miami. That's the thing. You can't dwell on it. These games come quickly. And this is another, someone asked me last night, adversity. I'm like, look, this is opportunity. I don't look at it as adversity. The season's not over because we lost that game. It was a game that, we had a chance to win and we prepared for, and I thought our guys fought. We just didn't win it. That happens sometimes. There was a lot of things going on. It was Coach Bray's last game there. They had 5 graduate students starting. It was their last time playing there. They had about 35, 40 former players back, so it was a lot of emotion in there. It's probably the best Notre Dame has played maybe since they beat Michigan State there early in the year. And they've been playing well over the past few games. I think in their last 6 games prior to us, they had lost them by a combined total of 28 points. So they've been right there. It was just one of those nights where they put it together. And, at times, man, I was wondering if that little leprechaun had put something on these baskets, man, where we couldn't, it was like he's his invisible leprechaun sitting up there swatting our free throws away and our layups. And because it was just weird. Like we don't miss free throws like that. And it was strange.
Yeah, and you're right. There's so many shots just right there, just
We're right
off the
there.
rim. Yeah.
I mean, I think we had it at 7 and we got an offensive rebound and JB drove and it's a layup. Yeah. And it's like it rims out and it's just like, all right, this is just some odd
leprechaun.
Some weird stuff going on here tonight.
You foreshadowed something the last time we were here about what was going to happen in your last game. I want to talk about that as we continue. It's the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. And we are at the Campus View Club, and last time you guys played here, and there's a WPIL championship game going on right now, so you might hear some noise in the background. You predicted it was going to be an emotional – man, you weren't lying. It was an emotional day.
Yeah, it was. When you look at what this group of seniors or graduates, whatever you call these guys now, the old guys, you think about each of their journeys and this team's journey this year. And when you think about, the guy that's been with us the longest is Fish. I think Fish joined our program. I can't remember if it was my first year he was a manager, or if it was the second year. I don't remember, but I know he's been here quite a while. And you look at the journey that he's been on, from a manager to becoming a walk-on to becoming a scholarship guy this year, and just all the things that he's seen, he's been a part of. He's a kid that dreamt of, coming here, went to games when he was little, came to camp, and then all of a sudden, he's here, and it's not going anywhere like he imagined it would go. Right. And then in his last year for the tide to turn a little bit, and he's had a huge part in that. And then the rest of the guys, with their journeys.
Yeah, and we've discussed them. I know there are times when you put guys in at the end of the game, you're like, don't shoot. Was there any chance that Fish was not going to get an opportunity to shoot there at the end?
There was absolutely no chance. When I subbed him in, I didn't have to say anything. But when I went back and looked at some of the videos, like the guys are telling them, like, we're getting you the ball, shoot it. Like every time
Blake
you get
got
it,
that offensive rebound.
Yeah. I thought the 3 was good that he shot before that. And I think what's lost in that whole thing, like that was a heck of a move that he made. Like it's not just the basket; it was a heck of a move, and the finish with the left hand. That was pretty impressive.
What was your vertical on that? It was like the reaction. I think as much as the shot was great, the reaction was so incredible.
It was interesting because in the moment I didn't see the reaction of our guys. I certainly heard the reaction of the fans. I was so excited myself. And then afterwards, we're going to shake hands. It wasn't until later that night when I saw the videos and I saw our guys' reactions, and I saw them run out to him and pile on him and things like that. That's something I'm not sure I've ever seen, which was incredibly, incredibly cool.
As when you presented him the game ball, and I know that was an emotional moment, but did you take a step back, and as much as it was a great moment for him to see all the guys all together and think, this is it. This is what we've been working for.
Yeah, no question. And that's why I knew I would be emotional coming into it, like the whole day, just because of, this journey that we've been on as a coaching staff, as a program, as fans of the program, of trying to get this right. And it's been frustrating. Look, I know fans have been frustrated. I understand that. And down and things like that, but no one's been more frustrated than us, because it's something that we have a passion for and a love for, and you want to get it right. And there have been times when we felt like we're going in the right direction, and something comes up that's totally unexpected, that's not in a coaching handbook. And then all of a sudden, again, it's not an excuse. This is just the reality. All of a sudden, a global pandemic happens, and then all of a sudden you got one-time transfer happens. And then right after that, you have name, image, and likeness. And so the world changes and the landscape of college athletics completely changes in trying to figure out how to navigate in all this, like the new reality. And, I said to our staff after last season was over with, and, I knew I was coming back. I was going, because I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, that's the reality of it. I've been through this, man. I got fired at Oklahoma, so I understand the reality of my profession and what I have to do. But once I knew that I was okay, we were okay, I challenged my staff, and it was March 9th. I remember the date. And I just said, like, look, from now until July, we have to have a lot of wins in recruiting. And we got to, the guys that we want to bring back, we got to get them back and make sure, and we got to help them get better and work with them. And then the new guys that we get, that we have to have some wins in recruiting. And we kind of had a formula of what we wanted to do. And we did that. And so we felt really, really good about that. And then when we were able to start getting the guys here, and that we didn't get everyone here until school started in the fall, but we had some guys here in the summer. When we got them here, we're working with them, and we just saw how organically the chemistry happened. And we knew we had something then. And when we got everyone together, we started working out, we started putting stuff in and, doing some things offensively, like we knew. We knew we had something. And then when we started the season, then there were some questions. After, we get drilled here, we go to New York, we get drilled, we lose to VCU. I saw progress in that, in the VCU game, but we lost. And so it's 3 in a row. And, now all of a sudden doubt can start to creep back in. And then we play, I think it was Alabama A&M, and we're down at halftime. And we just kept trying to stay positive and trying to just keep punching. And then we won. I don't know who we played next, but we won. I don't know who the next one was, but I know we won. And then we went to Northwestern, and they were really good. They were a top 10 defensive team. Their only loss was to the 15th ranked team in the country in Auburn. And we probably played our best game of the year. And then we turned that around, and I saw the reaction afterwards, and I knew then we got them. And then we go to NC State and we win. And so you start to kind of build some confidence. And again, you just know the journey. And so that's what I was thinking about, what this group has been through individually and collectively. And to be able to have that moment, like to celebrate that at the end, to get fish in, all the seniors or the old guys, the graduates played really well, whether it was Nike with the lob, Jamarius in the middle of the zone, Nelly making plays, Greg, didn't have a good first half, came out in the second half. And so it was just a really, really cool moment.
And now you play for an ACC championship on Saturday.
Absolutely.
Which is awesome. One of the guys, you talk about how it's a whole group of you. One of the guys that you don't hear about was a 4-year letter winner on the football team here at the University of Pittsburgh. We're going to talk to Penny Samaya and his role with these student athletes as we continue on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. His title is Senior Associate Athletic Director for Student Life. And what that means is Penny Samaya cares about the student athletes here at the University of Pittsburgh, cares about their success, not just on a field or on a court or in a pool, but in life. And I think I kind of sum up what you do, isn't it? Is that fair?
First and foremost, to God be the glory. It's been a blessing to do what I do. In a nutshell, we help prepare our student athletes for success while they're in college and for success in life beyond college. And the beautiful thing about doing it at Pitt is that this athletic department, this institution, the wonderful staff, we all believe in our student athletes. And by believing in them while they're here, that also means we support them as alum, or what we love to call our alum, Forever Panthers.
In what ways do you help?
So first, our philosophy, we meet them exactly where they are. First step. We build relationships. Relationships are the fruit of what we do. We have to establish trust. We have to establish knowing where to go and who to speak with. And once we layer that trust in them recognizing we can support them, then we can move forward. So we touch on topics from leadership to mentorship to financial literacy to career outcomes. For example, we have a 7-year average of 99% career outcomes for our graduating student 99%? Athletes. 99%. And that's a 7-year average. And the most amazing part about that statistic is we do that within their first 6 months of graduating.
Wow.
That's the part of what we do that the public gets to see in statistics. But a valuable quote that I learned from one of my team members, Kristen Marsters, is stories are data with a soul. And we love to pour the soul into our student athletes. So when we have former student athletes like Aisha Muhammad, Michaela Burton, Ryan McConnell, former Pitt student athletes who are employed in our athletic department now. That's us proving that we care about you forever.
What's it like then to see those stats with soul play? Because you become invested. I can't imagine what your emotions are like, because you know these guys, these men and women, what their positives, negatives, what they're going through, and then to see them perform athletically.
It's the fruit of the full meal, the dessert. Take a guy like Nellie Cummings from Colgate University, was a winner there, comes here, brand new environment, under a tutelage of our great coaching staff under Coach Capel, Coach Brown, and O'Toole, and everyone there. He enrolls in our summer course for upper class, and he just shows us who he really is. He's authentic, he's caring, he's invested in his future, he's curious. One thing that Heather Like always talks about, get to curious. And he's taken all of his Pitt experience, even in this short amount of time, and he's translated it to the classroom, to the court, to the community, to all his other spaces. So when we get to see him perform at his best in an area that he thrives in, that's the fruit. That's the icing on the cake.
I'm sure fans would be interested in what type of people. What can you tell us just generally about the type of people that they're rooting for that play basketball here at the university?
Here are the type of individuals that you get to root for. You get to root for a young man like Jamarius Burton, who, again, another transfer who came here, who trusted the University of Pittsburgh, trusted Coach Capel, that wherever he was prior, it made him shift. And now we get to see the fruits of his decision, the fruits of the hard work that our coaches pour into them, our strength coaches, our academic support staff. And you see the quality of their human spirits, not just the performance of a student athlete on a court. Because what they do in the classroom, in the community, and on the basketball court, holistically, is beautiful.
You were a big part of the Pitt Varsity Letter Club Awardees of Distinction, and the class of 2023 includes several sports, but the one that caught my attention was my sometimes partner, Curtis Aiken. Congratulations to him. Tell us what this means and what the thought was behind it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first, we actually have some awardees of distinctions in the audience today with Mr. Dennis Stitch, Donna De Marino staff as well. We have wonderful folks who are here today who represent the highest quality of what it means to be a Forever Panther. And the awardees of distinction, for those of you who are unfamiliar, this is the 61st year of celebrating this class or this group of people. We celebrate Forever Panthers and what they do in their life after Pitt. Your first year of eligibility is 25 years since your last competition.
Oh, wow.
So we're looking at you 25 years past Pitt. So what are we looking at? What you did with your Pitt education, how you've translated your transferable skills as a Pitt student athlete into the world, and how you became a leader in your industry and in the community. That's the celebration of awardees of distinction.
I thought maybe it was based on best dressed, and that's where Curtis came in.
Curtis would have won that. You would have won that too.
No. You don't know the pressure sitting next to him, because you know you can't win that battle. He's the finest dressed man, and he's a great human. I don't mean to make light of the things that he does. Penny, thank you for everything you do for the University of Pittsburgh and this basketball team.
My pleasure.
When we continue, he has been with Jeff the entire time. Milan Brown is going to talk to us a little bit about his life-altering story as we continue on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Panthers associate head coach Milan Brown, who is with us now here from the Campus View Club. And a shout out to Chris Carter, who did a really good story on what happened to you. It was May 9th.
Right.
Here in this building. You're on your phone.
Recruiting.
You're recruiting. And you collapse.
Yeah.
And you're having a cardiac arrest. Mm-hmm. And you were telling me before we started, you don't remember.
No, I don't remember. I have been told a story of what happened. I don't remember what happened. I think I still have the dent in the back of my head to prove it. So, but in ways, to me, I think of it as a blessing, because even though now I have to keep telling the story over and over, but I didn't know. So when I came back about a week or so afterwards, once they released me, and I just stopped by the office actually just to see Jeff. And he's looking at me like, "What are you doing here?" And my wife's asking me, "Are you sure you want to go back?" I said, "I don't remember what happened, so I'm fine as far as I know." We were out at Capitol Grill eating dinner for Mother's Day. That's all I remember.
Could have planted some memories in there.
No question.
You know, like Total Recall or
Right.
something. Amy Anderson was the first person who came to
Right.
help you out. She called some people. Yeah,
Right, absolutely.
kudos to Amy. And then as she's getting involved in helping, I know some. One of the custodial staff was a nurse,
Right.
and Terry Mitchell,
Yes.
women's assistant coach, associate head coach, became involved, and she came and held your hand through this process.
Yes, and she was one who was able to run and get the AED to shock me back, and she did a lot more than that. As the things that I did not know, she was praying for me the entire time as well. And she said she was holding my head in her hands, and I told her even afterwards, I don't know what it was, but I felt that. I felt that, and so as the doctors told me, everything had to happen exactly the way it happened in order for me to be sitting here today the way that I am, which is pretty much the way that I was before it happened, except for the ICD that's in my chest. So it was just one of those things that to me was supposed to happen. And he put everything in place to save me so I could tell my story. And it's definitely a way for, when I say it now, I mean it when I say God is good.
Is it true when you came out of surgery, you came out of anesthesia, that you were writing up a play?
Unfortunately, yes. That was my wife did a great job of.
So you're dictating a play to her.
Well, there's a whiteboard in the room, so we're just waiting. So I had something in mind, and my wife's drawing the plays up and taking the pictures. I'm pretty sure Coach said that is the most insane thing I've heard in my life. But it was good. The other thing happened too, and I said in the story that was that Thursday or Friday, JB came by, and we sat outside in the atrium and talked for about, 30, 45 minutes and just talked basketball. And that helped me a lot because it made me feel normal. I lost myself for a good 45 minutes. I wasn't sitting there wondering, while you're in there doing this and they're telling me what happened to me, even though I didn't remember anything, I understand the severity of what happened. So now any creak or twitch or anything that's going on, I'm on high alert. Sometimes the quiet moments were the worst because I'm almost just self-examining myself the entire time. Are you okay? Calm down. Don't do this. Don't do that. So when JB came by, that was great because we just had a chance to talk a lot of basketball.
Has that impacted your relationship with the players?
Yeah, it's actually it's impacted my relationship really with everybody. And in our profession, I heard Coach talking earlier that, we understand the job that we have and it's hard, but everybody has hard jobs. We know that sometimes ours can be temperamental. It can be a big time roller coaster ride. But because of what has happened to me, man, I'm just so happy that I have a chance to be a husband and a father. I couldn't imagine what it would be like not being able to see my two girls. Like walking to see my wife every day. I don't want to think about that. But when I have the loss that we had the other day, it really, really hurt me. But I got over it pretty quick to move on to the next thing. I definitely understand what it is about being grateful for the moments that you have.
Yeah, all those annoying things that daughters can do probably aren't as annoying anymore.
No, they're still annoying. I just get over it faster.
Before we go to break, did you ever run that play? Did that play make it into the season?
I don't even remember what I wrote. I don't. If it has or it hasn't, hopefully Coach will just lie to me and say, yes, we put that in.
End of the Miami game.
It scored every time. Yeah, right. We're saving it for Saturday. Don't tell the secrets.
When we come back, I want to get your thoughts. as you're watching Bills Bengals as we continue with Associate Head Coach Milan Brown here on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Joined by Associate Head Coach Milan Brown here at the Campus View Club during the Jeff Capel Show. And so time had passed. You had gone through camp. You'd gone through the beginning of the season, through most of the non-conference season. You're at home. A rare time you're at home, get to watch some football with your wife.
Right.
And you're watching the Bills Bengals, and you see what is the conversation when you saw what happened with DeMar?
It was awful to see it happen. When the first time that we went to commercial break, my wife and I knew something was wrong because right before they went to the break, 2 of the people in the screen were running away from him and waving. It's like, that's not normal. So then when they came back, again, it goes back to my situation. I guess when they came back and the camera showed him for a brief second, his arm was in the air. And my wife tells me it's cardiac arrest. And I said, how do you know that? She said, that's what they said you look like. When I was laying in the car, my arm was straight up in the air as if I was still holding my phone while I was on the ground. So she knew it immediately. So my daughters came down. We didn't until it went off of the TV. We sat there and we just prayed the entire time for him, and we're hoping, and I just kept saying, "Get up, get up, get up, get up." So it was great to see him when he came out of the game at Georgia Tech.
A couple of weeks later, there he is sitting 100 feet from you,
right
across the way.
Yeah.
How early did you make eye contact, or did you see each other before the game?
I actually didn't know. We were so locked into the game and things are going on.
Good answer.
And so, yeah. And so, but every so often, depending on what's going on, if somebody makes a half-court shot or somebody's famous, the crowd gets really loud. And the reason why is because usually coach is drawing something up, and then he's got to scream louder over top of what's happening in the beat. And so after the timeout, the guys are walking back out. I'm getting ready to tell something to Nelly or somebody, and I look across, I see him sitting there. And so I knew I would at least have to say hello to him, and we understood it. And so when he was able to come back to the locker room, we were able to embrace. And I was telling him a little bit. I said, "I'm so happy to see you." And I said, "Listen, in May," and he cut me off when I was about to tell my story. He said, "I know, Coach." He said, "We in his words, we need to chop it up." And so yesterday, I texted with him yesterday. And so once everything dies down on both our ends, we're going to get together. And I told him whatever he's doing, if he needs me, I'm there. And he said the same thing. So it was just, that kid's blessed. No question about that.
What do you want people to take from your story?
Well, first and foremost, if you don't know CPR, you need to do it. You need to know. We as a staff, the athletic department, we go through training once a year. But it is very important. You just don't know where you're going to be. You don't know the life that you can save. That time when those tragedies happen, as the doctors have explained to me, that time is so precious. So anything that is done is helpful. And so CPR is very, very important. And if everybody knows it, you just don't know the life that you're going to be able to impact. And then other than that, as much as you can, just whatever day you have, make sure you enjoy it and live it. And, one of my favorite songs I listen to once a day, at least, is a gospel song, Marvin Sapp, "I'm Thankful for It All." And so he said, "I'm thankful for it all, the good, bad, the ugly, great, and small." So just be thankful for everything. And, I think that goes not only in life, but anything that you're doing. For us Saturday, be thankful that we get a chance to play.
Amen.
Let alone play for an ACC championship. Everybody that goes in the game should have a huge grin on their face while they're playing. They should wonder what's wrong with Pitt. Why did it look like this? It's grateful to be out here and a chance to do it. Doesn't mean that you're not going to have ups and downs. I mean, that's obviously life, but enjoy it while you can because the ride could be short.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Absolutely. I
Thanks,
appreciate
Milan.
it.
Associate Head Coach Milan Brown. When we come back, Jeff is going to come back, and we're going to discuss some great players in the league this year, including a few with the Panthers, with all ACC honors coming your way. We'll talk about some of their resumes as we continue on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Jeff, so many good performances in the ACC this year. I look at Applebee's numbers, Smith's numbers, Baycott's numbers. I mean, and there are others. A lot of quality play across a lot of different teams this season.
No question. I mean, I think our league is really good. I hate that it's unfairly been labeled, the way that it's been labeled. It's like people just want to look at what a computer says instead of really taking a look at these teams that are really, really good. I think we're one of the really good teams in the league. Obviously, Miami, Virginia. I think Clemson's really good. Duke is playing awfully well right now. Carolina looks like they're starting to turn the corner. I mean, you look at Notre Dame, and I know their record, they've not had a good season, but they beat Michigan State in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Right. And it's a team that you wouldn't want to play against. Another team that's like that is Boston College. As they got healthy, they're a good basketball team. And so there are a lot of really good players, a lot of good coaches in this league. It's very tough. That's why you can't take winning for granted. And it's going to make for a heck of an ACC tournament.
Jamarius and Blake are two guys that would be deserving.
No question.
How do you work that as a coach? Like, do you just hope that they vote the right way, or is there anything?
You hope. I mean, with JB, I think both of them should be. The thing I worry about with Jamar, just for him, is that he had huge games, but they were early. Have people like the Carolina game here when he had 31, but that was in early January. That was, I think that was
the 30th.
The 30th of December, so it was in 22. So hopefully people remember, hopefully coaches remember that and look at the body of work. Hopefully, we are rewarded for winning, for being one of the better teams. When I placed my vote, which I did this morning, all of my votes, I take my time, man. I write it down. I look at the information. I look at the numbers. I look at winning, because to me, that's the big thing. Like, how have you impacted winning? You can have unbelievable numbers, but if your team is losing, what are you really doing? Are you chasing numbers? For me, I like to reward the guys that win.
We'll take 30 seconds for each one. Why Fetty could be Defensive Player of the Year?
I think when you look at what he's done, not just individual one-on-one defense against some of the better big guys in this league, but you look at what he does, helping clean up some of our mistakes with block shots. If you look at his ball screen coverages and what he does there, and his impact, even if he doesn't block a shot, the impact he has, just his presence there.
Is there an award you'd like to see for that impacts that isn't necessarily an individual award right now?
That's a good question. It's something I've never thought about. There's nothing that jumps off the top of my head.
All right. As we continue, going for an ACC championship Saturday at 6 o'clock. We'll talk to Jeff about the Miami Hurricanes as we continue on the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. On Saturday on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network, the Panthers and Hurricanes for the ACC title. Jeff, you found a way to win that first matchup.
Yep.
You're down late, but man, it came together, and your guys, that's as clutch as I've seen a team all year.
Yeah, we made some plays down the stretch. It's interesting because you go back and you watch. I watched it last night just trying to get prepared for Miami, and I didn't think we played well, but we just hung around and made enough plays, and then down the stretch, we were tremendous down the stretch. Just the energy. We finally were able to put together some stops. We got out in transition. We made some plays. We were incredibly tough. The atmosphere, the crowd was amazing, and it was a big-time win for us.
You mentioned the Northwestern win earlier. How about the importance of that win to find a way to win against a team like that?
Yeah. Northwestern, I think, that they were, a couple of weeks ago, they were one of the hottest teams in the country.
Right.
And look, I watch all of their games because their head coach is one of my best friends. And, they're an NCAA tournament team. But for us, especially with what we had gone through earlier and just starting to take steps, and just the way we played in that game was unbelievable.
Well, but to get the Miami win, even though you didn't play at that level, but to find a way.
It showed us just different things. Like you can, like Nike did not play well, but we didn't play as well as we can in that game, but we were tough. We were incredibly competitive, and down the stretch, we made plays. And so That's how you know you have a pretty good team when you don't play well, but you can still figure out a way, especially against a really, really good team.
I imagine as you're watching that tape, defense is something that caught your attention. I think they shot, 49%, 47 from three?
Well, I don't know. I know we held them, I think it was 10 points under their average at the time. And that's the thing, actually, when I watched the tape, that we got to get back to. I don't think we've defended well the last 4 games. And that's something that we have to get back to. We got to get back to defending like we were prior to Virginia Tech.
How do you do that?
It's tough now because you can't do a lot in practice. So you watch a lot of tape. We have to be consistent with what we're doing. I don't feel like I didn't do a good job of getting us of our game plan against Notre Dame. We probably shouldn't have switched as much early in the game. We have to be who we are. And that's what we'll do going forward.
Is that a feel thing year by year? Like, how much can I push these guys? How much do I have to rest them? Tell them to get away? That type of thing?
Yeah, no, it's a big time feel thing. It's something that you figure out. If you have an older group, a group that's mature, maybe you can, give them a little bit more leeway where you take some breaks and things like that. Especially with guys that are playing a lot of minutes that are going to play heavy minutes. You want to get them as much rest as you can, but you don't want to do it where you're sacrificing some of the sharpness that you can have during the season.
They have 4 guys that basically are averaging 14 a game.
Yeah.
How do you slow that down and trying to know which guy?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, not a lot of people have figured it out.
Because Wong's obviously a key part of what.
No, he's huge. I mean, he's as good of a guard as we have in our league, as good of a shot maker, and he makes very difficult shots. But they have a lot of, Jordan Miller, over the last 5 games, I think Nigel Pack is leading them in scoring at about 18 a game. Jordan Miller is an unbelievable glue guy, and I think he's really, really good. And Omer and so they're a really good basketball team. They're older. They're very, very confident, and we know it'll be a packed house there tomorrow. Sorry, I got stuck.
Sorry. No, and by the way, we did decide in break that glue guy might be an award.
Yeah,
that
would be the award
in the
glue
ACC.
Guy. Yeah.
With your team, Milan was saying, hey, let's go down there. Who expected us to be here? What's your message to them from that standpoint?
Well, it's that I thought that hurt us a little bit yesterday because our guys really wanted it, like I said earlier, and I thought. Once we got down a little bit in the first half, I thought we got tight and that panicked us like we're losing it. Like we're not losing anything. Like this is an unbelievable opportunity. And let's just go have fun, man. Let's go for it. Let's go have fun. Let's be who we've been all year. We've been a team that's free, that's been, that competes, that's been about the right things. And let's not let the moment take us out of who we are and, take us out of the joy of what we do.
It's an interesting gym down there because there's a lot of dark area. What's that like to try to shoot? Is it much different? Is it distracting at all?
I hope it's not difficult. I hope we're able to shoot. I hope that leprechaun's not down there sitting on that rim. We've shot well down there. 2 years ago, we won down there. It was during the COVID season. It was actually after that game that I got COVID. I probably coached the game with COVID. But we've shot well down there. Hopefully, we're going to need to shoot really well down there on Saturday.
Well, best of luck.
Appreciate it.
What an awesome season it has been. And we look forward to Saturday. Pregame will start at 5:30 here on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network. Bill Hillgrove, Curtis Aiken, K.O. Berger. I want to thank Amanda King, who has been setting us up all year. To Nicholas Callis back at the studio. Penny Samaya for everything that he does for the university and does for you guys.
Yep.
And, he is such a key part of what goes on here. Milan Brown for sharing his story. And not just for that, but for all the assistant and associate head coaches and all the work that they do, they pour into this season. And Jake Pursuti and the managers and everybody that does so much for your team. Matt Pliska is one of those guys that does so much for this team. Good luck. Again, pregame at 5:30 for the Panthers in Miami and an ACC championship on the line. This has been the Jeff Capel Show on the Pitt Panthers Radio Network.